It all started with a single leaked video, a seemingly innocent moment that would ignite a chain of events, ultimately giving birth to a global empire. What would have been a career-ending scandal for most became the spark that fueled an entirely new narrative. It wasn't just about the video. It was the aftermath, the media frenzy that ensued, and the moment when a family found themselves at the epicenter of a spectacle that the world had never seen before. Through a potent combination of beauty, business, and drama, the Kardashian family didn't just enter the spotlight. They redefined what it meant to be famous. The Kardashian-Jenner family didn't simply ride the wave of fame, they became its architects. They weren't just famous for being famous, they understood fame in a way that no one had before. They knew how to manipulate the very system that had been designed to work against them. Bad press, they turned it into a calculated strategy. Scandals, they became a commodity. Secrets, once whispered behind closed doors, were transformed into profit, the public's hate. They turned it into content that kept the world watching. But here's what no one ever really talks about: the price they paid. Behind the flawless posts, the carefully curated images, the perfect angles and lighting, lies a darker, unspoken truth. A truth about how a family became a business and daughters became products. The Kardashian empire wasn't just built on the strength of their brand. It was constructed on the sacrifice of their personal lives, their privacy, and their souls. The world has been watching them from the very beginning. Their names splashed across headlines, their faces memed into every corner of the internet, their images plastered on magazine covers. We think we know their story, how they rose to fame, the drama, the controversies, the celebrity. But what if everything we've seen, every ounce of buzz and every media storm, wasn't just random chaos? What if it was all part of the plan? What if the Kardashians didn't just ride the wave of fame? They built the wave, controlled it, and knew exactly how to make it crash on their terms. The Kardashians understood the power of attention long before anyone else did. They knew how to turn every moment, every headline, every tear, and every laugh into currency. They turned what was once seen as a mistake into a masterstroke, and they used the world's fascination with them to create a legacy that would never fade. And by the end of this journey, you'll understand why you can't look away, and why that was the plan from the very beginning. Kim Kardashian, she became the face of this new type of fame. A hustler in every sense of the word, Kim Kardashian is the embodiment of a self-made businesswoman. She didn't just wait for opportunities to knock, she created them. From the moment she stepped into the public eye, she understood the power of social media. With over 40 million followers, Kim was more than just a celebrity. She was a brand, a marketing machine, and a force to be reckoned with. Through Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, she sold not just products, but a lifestyle. Her followers didn't just watch her, they aspired to be her. She became a global sensation, a woman who built her empire from the ground up by tapping into the digital world and turning it into her stage. But despite her undeniable success, Kim was always aware of the pressure that came with it. Fame wasn't just about the adoration, the glamour, and the money. It was about fighting for respect, proving that she wasn't just a reality TV star, but a woman who had worked hard to carve out her place in the business world. Even with everything she had accomplished, the fight for validation never stopped. Every move, every post, every business venture had to be bigger, more strategic, more successful than the last. There was always a new battle to fight. To truly understand how the Kardashians achieved what they did, we have to go back even further to 1994. Robert Kardashian, SR, a successful lawyer who had long stepped away from the courtroom, found himself thrust back into the public eye. When his close friend O.J. Simpson was accused of horrific crimes, Robert made the decision to join Simpson's legal team. Little did he know, this choice would not only alter his life, but would change the course of his family's future forever. As the infamous trial unfolded, Americans were glued to their TV screens, watching Robert as he sat in the courtroom, his demeanor composed, his face a study of seriousness. Every night, his face became as familiar to viewers as the drama unfolding in the courtroom. His children, Kourtney, Kim, K.H. Lowe, and Rob, were still young, but they witnessed their father's transformation from an unknown lawyer to a household name. For them, fame wasn't just an abstract concept. It was something that happened right before their eyes. They saw how public attention could elevate someone, but also how it could tear a family. Why apart? The cameras, the scrutiny, the invasion of privacy, they saw it all. And from that moment on, they understood the cost of fame. It wasn't just the perks, it was the price. The sacrifices that come with being in the spotlight, the constant exposure to public judgment, and the pressure of living your life for the world to see. The O.J. Simpson trial, for all its dramatic twists and turns, was just the beginning. The trial concluded with Simpson's acquittal, but the Kardashian name had been irrevocably linked to public drama, media attention, and fame. Robert's ex-wife, Kris Jenner, had already remarried Olympic gold medalist Bruce Jenner in 1991, and together they raised a blended family. Kris's 4 children from her first marriage to Robert, and their 2 daughters, Kendall and Kylie. The family lived a comfortable life, far from poverty but not yet in the ranks of true celebrity. But everything changed in 2007 when a personal video featuring Kim Kardashian and her then-boyfriend, rapper Ray J, was leaked online. For most people, this would have been a devastating blow, an embarrassing scandal that could end a career. But for Kris Jenner, whose dreams of fame for her family had always been grand, it was the break she had been waiting for. Months later, the family's reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, was announced. Critics were quick to dismiss the idea. Who would want to watch a family that was famous just for being famous? But Kris saw something they didn't. She saw that people didn't just want to see the glamorous lives of the rich and famous. They wanted to see the raw, unfiltered truth. They wanted drama, beauty, and authenticity. And most importantly, they wanted to feel like they were witnessing something real. Keeping Up with the Kardashians premiered in October 2007, and from that moment on, pop culture was forever changed. The trial ended with O.J. Simpson's acquittal, but by then the damage to the Kardashian name was already done. Their family name became irrevocably linked to media attention, to the relentless spotlight that follows scandal and drama. It wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was a permanent connection that would shape their lives and define their legacy. At the same time, Robert's ex-wife, Kris Jenner, had already embarked on a new chapter in her life. In 1991, she married Olympic gold medalist Bruce Jenner, and together they raised a blended family. Kris's 4 children from her previous marriage to Robert, and their daughters, Kendall and Kylie. The Jenner Kardashian family was modern and functional. They lived in a comfortable home in a quiet, affluent neighborhood, but they weren't quite yet part of Hollywood's elite circle. They were on the cusp, but hadn't quite broken through. That all changed in 2007. In that year, everything they knew about their lives, their privacy, and their place in the world would be upended forever. In 2007, a private video featuring Kim Kardashian and her then-boyfriend, rapper Ray J, was leaked online. For most people, this would have been the end. A scandal so damaging it could derail a career before it even fully took off. It could ruin reputations, end friendships, and destroy lives. But for Kris Jenner, whose ambition for her family was driven by her desire for fame, this scandal was not a tragedy. It was an opportunity. Kris saw something others didn't. While the public and media were quick to judge and condemn, Kris understood a simple truth: people crave what's real. People are drawn to wealth, beauty, drama, and authenticity, even if that authenticity is carefully curated. And in the midst of this controversy, Kris saw a chance to take control of the narrative. Within months, the family's new reality show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians, premiered. Critics were quick to dismiss it. Why would anyone care about a family who seemed famous for no reason other than being famous? A family with no real talent, no discernible skills, just the power of their last name. But Kris Jenner knew something the critics didn't. She knew that the world didn't need another traditional celebrity story. It needed this: a family who lived in front of the camera, raw, unfiltered, and unabashedly themselves. The Kardashians weren't selling a manufactured idea of fame. They were selling real drama, real beauty, and real moments. The show premiered in October 2007, and from that moment, pop culture was never the same again. Keeping Up with the Kardashians wasn't a glossy, high-budget production. The first seasons were gritty, often dark and rough around the edges. The cinematography was unpolished, and the editing wasn't flawless. But that was part of the charm. It felt raw. It felt real. The family opened up their lives in a way no one had ever seen before. They showed their struggles, their insecurities, their triumphs, and their failures. Nothing was off-limits. Relationships were laid bare. Business problems and family drama were exposed to the world. Vulnerability was not hidden. It was put front and center, and the world couldn't look away. Viewers became hooked, not just on the lavishness of their lifestyle, but on the human moments they shared. It wasn't just about watching the Kardashians get richer or wear the latest designer clothes. It was about seeing them as people. Real people with flaws and emotions, with families that fought, loved, and grew in front of the world's eyes. And for the Kardashians, every episode, every scene, every tear became a part of their carefully crafted brand. Kim's personal life quickly became one of the central plotlines. Her relationship with NFL star Reggie Bush played out on screen, followed by her marriage to NBA player Kris Humphries. But it was her marriage to Humphries in 2011 that became the biggest spectacle of all. The wedding, televised as a two-part special, was a $10 million extravaganza. It was the wedding of the year, complete with a $1 million ring, a designer dress, and a star-studded guest list. Yet just 72 days later, Kim filed for divorce. The public reaction was swift, and it was harsh. The world felt betrayed. People were quick to accuse Kim and the family of faking the entire marriage for ratings. It felt like a publicity stunt, a calculated move to keep the cameras rolling and the money flowing. The critics had a field day, and for the first time, the Kardashian empire seemed vulnerable. The public perception of Kim shifted. She was no longer just the girl from the video. She was the woman who would go to any lengths to stay in the spotlight. Kim stood by her decision to end the marriage, insisting it was real and that she had tried to make it work. But the damage to her public image was done. The Kardashian plan, which had always worked flawlessly before, now seemed to be unraveling. For the first time, the public was questioning everything. But what happened next revealed the true strength of Kim's brand-building prowess. Instead of retreating, instead of hiding away from the backlash, Kim leaned into it. She stayed on the show, continuing to document her life and openly discussing the painful divorce. She cried on camera, showed her vulnerability, and allowed the world to see her at her most human. She didn't try to hide the hurt. She didn't pretend to be perfect. Slowly, the public narrative began to shift. Kim wasn't the villain anymore. She was just a woman who had made a mistake, like so many of us do, but with the whole world watching. The scandal, which had seemed like the end of Kim's career, ultimately became the fuel that fired her rise to even greater fame. The public saw her differently, perhaps not as a mastermind of media manipulation, but as a young woman in the public eye, trying to navigate life and love like anyone else. And in doing so, Kim Kardashian became something more. She became relatable. This moment, painful and public as it was, became a pivotal chapter in the Kardashian story. It was a pattern that would repeat itself time and time again. Drama would lead to attention, and attention would lead to new opportunities. The Kardashians knew how to turn every setback into an advantage, and through it all, they proved that fame was not just about talent. It was about managing perception. It was about control, and most importantly, it was about survival. The drama ultimately propelled Kim Kardashian into even greater fame, not less. What initially seemed like a setback quickly became a blueprint for how the Kardashian-Jenner family would navigate every future public crisis. Drama equaled attention. Attention opened doors to new opportunities, and those opportunities would, without fail, lead to more money, more power, and greater influence. While the world was obsessed with their personal lives, their every move scrutinized, their every decision dissected, the Kardashians were quietly building something much bigger than the reality TV show that made them famous. Kris Jenner, the family's mastermind and manager, wasn't just orchestrating a brand. She was orchestrating a business empire. She took a 10% cut of everything her children made, and while some questioned her methods, there was no denying her brilliance as a businesswoman. Kris understood the modern power of fame, especially in the age of social media. She knew how to seize it and use it to her family's advantage, long before the rest of the world caught up. Kris wasn't just preparing her daughters for the limelight. She was preparing them to see themselves as a brand. She taught them that their faces, their names, and even their personal stories weren't just their own. They were products to be carefully marketed and sold. And it didn't take long for the Kardashian-Jenners to do exactly that. They signed brand deals, launched beauty lines, and promoted products on social media. They were ahead of the curve, pioneers in what we now call influencer culture. However, it was Kylie Jenner who truly took this concept to end. Yo Heights. At just 17 years old, she launched Kylie Cosmetics in 2015, introducing her now iconic line of lip kits. Within minutes of launching, the kits sold out. Kylie leveraged her massive social media following to create an immediate, insatiable demand for her products. It wasn't just a business, it was a movement. By 2019, Kylie's company was valued at nearly $1 billion, and she had made history as the world's youngest self-made billionaire. But the success wasn't without controversy. The title, self-made, sparked backlash from many who pointed out that her wealth was built on the back of her family's fame and privilege. Critics felt it was an unfair label, especially when considering the many entrepreneurs who started from scratch without such advantages. But despite the criticisms, the Kardashian-Jenner family continued to dominate. They expanded into new ventures, signed even more lucrative deals, and solidified their position as power players in the world of business. The family became a fixture in both the worlds of entertainment and entrepreneurship. But with their success came even more intense scrutiny. Accusations of cultural appropriation, the overuse of photo editing, and the constant pressure to meet unrealistic beauty standards only fueled the fire. Yet the Kardashians thrived, undeterred. They knew that in the world of fame, any publicity was still good publicity. Every headline, every rumor, every debate about them was another chance to stay relevant, to remain on top. The Kardashian-Jenner family had cracked the code on fame itself. They understood something fundamental about the media. Attention is a powerful currency, and if you know how to harness it, you can control your own destiny. They didn't just ride the wave of their fame. They built the wave, molded it, and rode it straight to the top. They turned the spotlight into their business model, and in doing so, they redefined what it meant to be famous. They proved that you didn't need a specific talent or skill to rise to the top. You just needed to control the narrative. You needed to create the story and then sell it. But even in a world where drama is manufactured and public personas are carefully crafted, real-life struggles began to emerge. The more the family grew and evolved, the more their personal transformations became public spectacles. Caitlyn Jenner's transition, for example, wasn't just a personal journey. It was a story turned into a media event. While Caitlyn's transition brought much-needed visibility to the transgender community, it also sparked debates about the privileges that come with wealth and fame. The Kardashian-Jenner family faced a new challenge as they tried to balance their personal and public lives. Kim, now focused on law and helping others, began to pivot away from reality TV and into more meaningful pursuits. Kendall, still at the top of her game, continued her reign as one of the world's most sought-after models. Lo found a new passion in fitness and motherhood, channeling her energy into her personal brand and wellness ventures. Kylie, ever the businesswoman, continued to expand her cosmetics empire, while Kris, the family's unwavering manager, kept steering the ship toward new heights. The Kardashians, who once started as just a reality show family, had now evolved into something much more significant. They were no longer just TV stars. They were business moguls, entrepreneurs who had built an empire in the digital age, where control over their own narrative was paramount. They had mastered the art of fame, beauty, and success, but in doing so, they had also given the world a mirror. The Kardashian-Jenners showed us who we are. They revealed the things we value, the kind of success we aspire to, and the ways in which we measure fame. Whether we admit it or not, the Kardashians have become part of the fabric of modern culture. In the end, the Kardashians are not just products of their own creation. They are the product of us, the audience they've cultivated. Whether we admire them, criticize them, or just can't look away, we, the public, made them. We bought into their story, watched their shows, purchased their products, and followed their every move on social media. In that sense, they are as much our creation as we are theirs. They've changed the world, and their story is far from over.